What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Noname back at it again with another New York Giants video. This time, we're going to be talking about the possible prospects the Giants could pick up in the day 2 of the NFL draft, round 2 and 3. You know, guys we could look at, guys they might pick up, who's available. There's a lot of good talent in the second round, more drops than I expected from the first, but a lot of good people here. I can't wait to get into it. But first of all, please guys, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it all over the place. I'm trying to grow the channel. It has grown a lot in these past couple of months, and I welcome all the new subscribers. I'm extremely grateful and thankful to all y'all. Please do like the video up. It helps it out on the YouTube algorithm, recommends it to more people, and helps get the channel out there more. That out the way. Oh yeah, so apparently Stephen A. Smith was saying the Giants had the worst first round out of all 32 teams in the NFL. That just popped into my mind. If you guys want me to make like some type of rebuttal video, shout out to OGR, to Stephen A. Smith, let me know. But I think that's just stupid. Stephen A.'s been a hater on the Giants ever since we took Daniel Jones. Then he hated on our coaching hiring, and now he's hating on our first round pick. I think the team with the worst first round out of anybody in the draft, it's either going to be, for me, the Jaguars or the Eagles, because I think the Jaguars reached on C.J. Henderson, and the Eagles definitely reached on Jalen Reagor. They got a, as we said in the live stream, me and Kid Blue, they got Nelson Agholor to replace Nelson Agholor. But that's not here or there to talk about right now. Let's get into the possible prospects in day 2 of the NFL draft. So day 1, yesterday, round 1, Giants took Andrew Thomas. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen my reaction and analysis video about him by now. I loved the pick. I thought it addressed their biggest need, and I thought it was the best offensive tackle on the board. Andrew Thomas was somebody that was slipping on a lot of people's draft boards, like post-combine, maybe even before that, post-January, but not mine. He was somebody that I consistently said was my favorite tackle in the class because he's the most balanced one, and he's the one that fits the Giants the best, so I loved the pickup. And now in round 2, we have a lot of good defensive talent here and even good offensive talent left that the Giants could use to address the remaining holes on their team, and there are a lot of holes on the team, so let's go over it. We have a hole at center that the Giants could potentially replace in day 2. We have a need at free safety or slot cornerback, and I'm pairing them together because depending on which one you bring in, you could address both. I feel like if they bring in a free safety, you address both slot corner and free safety. You just slide Julian Love down to slot cornerback, and I think he'll be a good, great, maybe slot corner, and we have a starting free safety. If you bring in a slot cornerback, well, you have a slot cornerback there, but then Julian Love still has to prove himself a bit more as a free safety. I agree with Giants fans. I do know that he performed well ending the season. I just need to see a bit more, a bit more of a sample size before I'm convinced that he's our starting free safety going forward, which is why I would prefer if the Giants do draft one and then just slide Love into the slot corner role. We still have a need at coverage linebacker, and this is something that can be addressed, in the 3rd round, maybe, not really the 2nd. A need at edge rusher, most definitely. We don't exactly have a pass rush right now in the Giants unless they really believe Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Ximines are going to take huge steps forward, and Kyler Fackrell is going to perform like he did in 2018. And there is, of course, a slight need at wide receiver. Now, I did a video on this just a couple days ago where I was talking about, do the Giants need a wide receiver? I came to the conclusion that it's a very slight need. It could be addressed. It would be nice to have a actual reliable one there. As of right now, everybody except for Golden Tate is injury prone, and you can't tell when they might get injured or when they're going to get knocked out for the season. So I do want to take a wide receiver in this draft, just not day 2. I think the earliest the Giants should take a wide receiver is around 4, and that's not today, that's tomorrow. So let's get into the available prospects. At center, we still have the only prospect that went off the board was Cesar Ruiz, the #1 center in the class, which means we still have the next 4 guys up. We still got Tyler Biadasz, Lloyd Cushenberry, Nick Harris, Matt Hennessy. Those are like my next 4 guys up. Not necessarily in order. I think the second best guy is Lloyd Cushenberry, and then like very slightly behind him is Biadasz, and then it's Nick Harris and Matt Hennessy. Now, Nick Harris and Matt Hennessy, I can see either one of those guys ending up in the 3rd round, but I expect Biadasz and Cushenberry to go in the 2nd round. So if the Giants are looking to go center, They do have good choices there, and there's guys even past these next four that I'm talking about that it could go with later on. But if you're looking to go center, I would go center in the third round, because I want to get a great defensive player in the second. There's still great defensive players available that I'm going to talk about after the center position. I still want to shore up and basically finish the offensive line, where like right now, as I said in my analysis video of Andrew Thomas, we have two great players in Thomas and Zeitler, one really good player with the potential to be great in Will Hernandez, and one good player with the potential to be really good in Nate Solder should he recover completely physically and mentally. And that right there is already a really good offensive line. You fix it up with a good, maybe great center in a Cushenberry or Biotish, and that offensive line is completely revamped. I'm fully convinced that it's a brand new offensive line. Right off the bat, their floor is like a number 15 offensive line in the league. That's how good the O-line would be. I don't think a lot of people realize that it's completely fixed and changed if we finish it up with a center. We don't have to. You know what I'm saying? We could go in this year with a Pulley, or maybe sign somebody off of waivers, maybe Nick Gates, and we'll have a good offensive line. This thing is actually coming together pretty nicely, which is why I love the Thomas pick so much. So they could go center second round. If they do, my two picks for the second round are Tyler Biotish and Lloyd Cushenberry. If they decide to go with third round, which I think is smarter, take your center in the third so that you have your second round pick to have a nice, good defensive player in there. I think that would be better, because you don't want to delay the defense too much. And speaking about that second round pick, there's kind of like a thing that I would want to happen, but I'm not so sure how, if it would happen, is for the Giants to trade down from 36 to maybe a team in the second and wants to trade up for a bit later second round pick and a third maybe, and then we'll have a bit more draft capital to try and fulfill all of our needs. It's just an idea that I'm throwing out there. But on my Thomas video, one of my subscribers did comment that they would like to trade down from 36, get a later second and an early third, and that would actually be a pretty nice trade. I still think you could probably get a Biotish with a later second, early third, go for defense, and then, I don't know, go defense twice in a row, get your wide receiver. It opens up a lot of doors, but that's definitely something that I would love to do. But like the first round, that all depends on a trade partner. And actually, one of my bold predictions for the draft, if any of you looked at my predictions video, was that there wasn't going to be any trades in the first round, the first 10 picks, for a multitude of reasons, and that happened. We didn't see a trade until 14th overall. Same principles could apply here. But let's get on to the defensive players. There were no safeties taken in the first round, so all the safeties are still there. All the top safeties are still there. I would love to have a McKinney or a Delpit on this team. Going back to what I was saying, you bring in a free safety and then you just slide Julian Love into slot corner. Your secondary for now has been addressed. For the most part, it should work out, you know, should these guys play up to what they are. But McKinney isn't really a slot safety, not slot safety. He isn't really a free safety. He's a bit more on the strong safety side. He can cover, but he's not known for his cover skills. What he is known for and what he's great at, the best part of his game is his in-the-box skills, tackling, run game, and all that. So maybe the Giants bring in McKinney. I wouldn't be mad at it. He's the best safety in the class, but I think our best fit lies with Grant Delpit, somebody who's kind of been sliding down draft boards recently. And even I admit Delpit has his flaws, but he's the second best safety in this class without a doubt, in my opinion. And it's kind of similar to how Andrew Thomas was sliding on people's draft boards, and I didn't see a reason why, and I kept him as my number one. For Delpit, I can understand why he's sliding in some people's eyes, because Antoine Winfield is a very intriguing prospect. He's probably like the third best safety in this class. He's a little bit more versatile than Grant Delpit, and I will say he has a better tackling form than Delpit. That's the one thing I don't like about Grant Delpit, is that his tackling form is really weird and it could bring up problems in the NFL. But I think he's the best fit for the Giants because he's the best coverage safety in this class. So we bring him in as our starting free safety, slide Julian Love into the slot corner. Who knows? It could be fixed, but there's a multitude of options at safety. You got McKinney, you got Delpit, you got Winfield, you got Chin, you got Kyle Duggar. You got all the safeties there because none of them were taken. Moving on to edge rusher, very intriguing one. This is where I would personally go. If Zach Bond is still there at 36, I'm taking Zach Bond. And a lot of you might have seen my first mock draft video, the one where I took Andrew Thomas. In the second round, I took Zach Bond. People were saying he wasn't going to make it to the second round. Well, here we are in day 2 and Zach Bond is still there, and I honestly don't see... Well, I shouldn't say this because anything can happen, but personally, I don't see Bond going before 36. I think he's going to be there, and if he is, he's going to be my best edge rusher on the board for fit to the Giants. My best edge rusher on the board no matter what is your Gross-Matos, who can make it to 36th. And that is definitely somebody, if I'm the Giants, that I'm looking at. In fact, you know what? Let me list out the edge rushers I'm looking at. I'm looking at Zach Bond, Gross-Matos, Julian Okwara, maybe a Bradley Anae. He's been slightly rising, but he would be a reach at 36. And those are really the guys that I'm looking at in terms of the edge rush. It's just that Zach Bond best fits it because I have him ranked below Matos but above Julian Okwara and the other guys. But the thing about Gross-Matos is that he's I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", but his weight is 265. So unless he's dropping like 15 pounds, I don't see him, you know, being a good 3-4 outside linebacker. He could be a great 4-3 defensive end, but I don't see him fitting in as a 3-4 outside linebacker. And this is something I said countless times. Yes, I know the Giants say that they're not exactly gonna have a scheme on defense, but right now with the players that we have, our base is a 3-4 offense. I mean a 3-4 defense. And unless we're gonna be running 4-3 sets like 50-60% of the times, I'm not taking Gross-Matos because I believe that he will be better suited as a 4-3 defensive end. And if you're taking him, you're gonna want him to be on the field at least 50% of the times, you know, for 50% of the snaps. So I just don't see him fitting into the Giants because of his size. That's not to say they can't take him, and like I said, if I'm the Giants, I am looking at him because he would be the best edge rusher available. You know, maybe it comes down to the thing where Judge said, don't tell me what you can't do, tell me what you can do, and Gross-Matos can get to the quarterback, so maybe they do take him. And there's a connection with Spence, our defensive line coach from Penn State. He coached Gross-Matos, so who knows, there's that. But I would personally go Zach Bond because he fits in as a 3-4 outside linebacker perfectly, and he has a bit of versatility. He can drop back in coverage actually. Zach Bond, I think he played quarterback at one time in his football career, and so he knows how to read the quarterback's eyes. I've said a lot of things about him in my mock draft video, along with the next player that I'm going to talk about right after this. But Zach Bond for me would be my pick at edge rusher, and that's what I would do in the second round. Next up we could talk about is the inside linebacker position. We have a couple guys down here that honestly is where I expected them to be. We still have the one guy, let me talk about real quick, Logan Wilson, somebody else that I mocked to us in that first mock draft video. I don't think you take him at 36, but I don't think he's going to beat her at 99, so maybe the Giants do take him at 36 and get our coverage inside linebacker. Wilson is one of the smartest and most underrated linebackers in this draft class. He has been rising through draft boards, so maybe people are starting to notice him, but he's probably one of the best available coverage linebackers on the board right now. Still on the board, the guys that I would be looking at would be Malik Harrison and Troy Dye, and then I'm looking at Logan Wilson. Maybe I'm looking at Logan Wilson before Troy Dye, but he is the best coverage linebacker available. Malik Wilson is a really good linebacker, but he's more of a tackling machine. He can cover, but it's not his best attribute. Kind of like how Kenan Burry, his best attribute is more so in tackling and the physicality rather than coverage, which is what the Giants should be looking for right now. So I'd be looking at Troy Dye, Logan Wilson, other coverage linebackers in this area. It's just that both of these guys might be a reach at 36, but I don't see them being available at 99, you know, so maybe the Giants go there. And like I said, Wilson is somebody I really like. He's been rising up boards. We'll see how that goes. But those are the players that I'm mainly looking at if I'm the Giants in day 2 of the NFL draft. I will admit I'm more so focused on the second round than the third, but the positions are really both for the second and third is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a center. I would love to get them in the third round instead of second because I want to address the defense, and I would want to get a pass rusher in the second round. So if I'm the Giants, I'm going pass rush, then center, but they should be looking at pass rush, center, inside linebacker, and cover safety. That's really the positions that will be available now, and you know, considering positional value, it would be a good time to take them in day 2. Let me know what you guys think, and if I missed any players that you think should be up here, put it down in the comments below. Once again, like, share, subscribe. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out. Yeah.